Hello, it is Paulicia Aguilard, and I wanted to come in here and just talk to you very briefly about a subject that is really, really close to my heart. And a lot of things that we have been seeing in the news has been very distressing and disturbing in terms of seeing people who have taken their life, those that have committed suicide. And so I thought it would be very befitting just to get on here and just really share my heart with you for a few moments and talking about the seriousness of suicide. And so I really just want you to listen, with the intent of understanding, because one of the things when we talk about mental health, it's a stigma around it. So when we have the conversation, you might find that of some specifics in terms of someone that's dealing with a mental illness, or they're not feeling as strong as what they normally would. And so there's been a lot of talk, a lot of different memes that I've seen that says, check on your strong friends, or, I am the strong one. And so oftentimes, what does that mean specifically for those of us who have, jobs and different roles that we play in rearing children and different things that we do? What does it mean to really carry that strength? And, what is the cost of that? If you are not checking in with yourself and checking in frequently. What often happens is we're going through this hustle and bustle. Think about with the pandemic and everything that we have experienced and are continuing to experience, it really increases the anxiety. A lot of times, I've also been around friends and family, and even working with others that have felt depressed, like they don't really know or understand what the future holds. And so I just wanted to bring light to this topic in terms of depression and what to look out for. Because I think one of the biggest things, the drawbacks of when you talk about depression and how it can lead to suicide, is that you people feel judged. And if you're not having the conversation, oftentimes talking about not feeling your best, not feeling strong, not feeling with it all of the time, it brings about some judgment. And so, knowing who you can really open up to and who you can really share and be transparent with about, hey, this is just one of those days where I'm not all happy, I'm not all smiles, I'm not feeling very well. So, first of all, let me just say this: there is a difference in terms of things that we go through. It's normal to feel sad and to have those moments that you're not as happy. But what we want to do in talking about depression, that's something that goes a little bit deeper. And some of the symptoms that I want you to be aware of in someone being depressed is, loss of the activities that maybe once they were into. So the things that you find pleasurable, or maybe even that you've seen your friend find pleasurable, they're not really doing that anymore. Maybe you've also noticed that that friend or yourself is pulling away from people. So instead of talking to others, you're isolating yourself, because you're thinking that, hey, if I show this other part of myself, then what will people say about me? And so that fatigue, the thing about being isolated from others, also having a support system, so being able to trust others with how you're feeling, is also something that we really, really need to be aware of, and continue to have this conversation. Something else, another symptom in terms of depression, is forgetting things. So not being able to concentrate, because what happens is, when we are overwhelmed with specific things, our mind shuts down. There's only so much that we are able to handle and process. And so those levels, when you hear about your endorphin levels, what really happens is those endorphin levels, they are lower, they decrease. So those things that we love to do when somebody is feeling depressed or when they're not feeling as strong, you notice that there is a decrease in your endorphin levels. So that again, and we can go into a whole other thing. I'm not trying to take you through something that is too clinically um, deep. That's not my purpose here tonight. All I want to do is just shed light on some of the symptoms that I've seen and some of the things that I think when people hear about hey, what do you have to be sad about, or how come you didn't come and talk to me? Well, we're talking about and shedding light on sometimes people don't feel comfortable or they don't trust. And so for us to continue to have this conversation, to continue to prevent suicide and the things that accompany that, we have to become more self-aware of what we're actually looking for. So just because somebody is smiling all the time doesn't mean that they're always feeling good. Again, thinking about society and the different things that we are responsible for, it would be very befitting for somebody to show up as a person that is always confident or that's always on, right? But on the inside, not feeling as strong. And so that's why that support system is so very important, because if you're my support system, if you're somebody that I can trust, you're going to notice some things about me that maybe I can't verbalize, because somebody who's dealing with depression might not always know how to express what it is that they're actually feeling. So it's not just verbal, but it's actually the nonverbal, so their body language as well. Again, something else that you can look for in somebody that's experiencing depression is if you are finding it difficult to sleep. So again, and I spoke about this earlier this week, is if you find yourself having difficulty sleeping, so insomnia, that is also a symptom of depression. So again, that mind is just going and going. You're trying to figure out how you're going to solve this problem, or is things going to get better? So again, that's also a symptom of depression. Something else is irritability. Sometimes you try to solve everything on your own, and you're trying to figure out, why am I so moody? What is that about? That's also a symptom of depression. So again, these different symptoms, and there are a lot more. I just wanted to again shed light on that. So somebody who again that is showing up as being the strong one, being the one that always has the answers, being the one who is the go-to person, can also deal with depression, can also have those thoughts. And when I say those thoughts, we're talking about suicidal thoughts, because we know statistically that depression, specifically clinical depression, can lead to suicide and having those suicidal thoughts. So again, what I want to just make sure that we're very clear on this evening is, what do we actually do? So now that we've talked about what those symptoms are and how they manifest, where can we go for that support? If you're not trusting anybody, if you feel like, hey, people aren't going to really understand what I'm going through because this is a difficult time. And let me just say this, just because one person might not understand, that doesn't mean that we minimize or dismiss that person's feelings. So when I hear people say, well, what does she or what does he have to be depressed about? Life is too short. You're so blessed. These are the things that you should be focusing on. Although the intent is positive, and you're wanting to give that encouragement, sometimes it's not enough just to say that, because that person who's experiencing depression can also hear that as judgment. So we don't want to judge where the person who's experiencing depression is in that moment. Whatever it is that they're feeling, it's important to validate that feeling. And validation doesn't always mean, hey, I understand, because maybe you don't understand. If you've not been in that place where it is a dark place where you can't figure out what your next step is going to be, how you're going to, pay this bill, or make ends meet, or solve this problem that person feels like is a big issue, and there's no hope, they can't see any way out. Maybe you haven't been in that situation. And if you haven't, if it hasn't got to be to a point where you're at the end of your rope, that's wonderful. But that doesn't mean that there aren't those who experience that. And actually, when that happens, that is the time for people who are feeling depressed to reach out. However, due to feeling judged, due to not really trusting, and sometimes just not having the energy to talk about those feelings and those thoughts, they need to talk to somebody that is a licensed professional. So again, we don't want to put something out there in terms of knowing that you understand, or that you can really help in this situation, when you really don't have the experience or the knowledge. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is, we are, in terms of having the conversation, let's continue to do that, and normalize that it's okay not to be okay, that I don't have to show up all the time as a strong person, that's not a reward for me every time that I show up as a strong person, that if I don't have the answer, then I'm less of a person. But let's start having the conversation of, how can I best help this person? If I'm not the person that can help them, I can definitely steer my friend, my loved one, my colleague in the right place. And so, again, this evening, I just really want to have the conversation. If you are watching right now, I want you to put your questions in, and I definitely will answer those questions for you. What do we do, and where do we turn? So, again, if you are feeling like you are overwhelmed, there is a suicide hotline that you can contact. There is 911 that you can contact, that actually has a suicide hotline. And I'm going to put at the end of my message here the resources that you can reach out to. So again, I hope that you are gaining some knowledge, but I just really wanted to share my heart with you on this evening, because as a mental health professional, it's very disheartening in hearing, that people can't just be open and transparent about the feelings, the valid feelings that they are holding, almost to the point where they want to take their life, where they feel like there's no hope, and they can't really say or speak to that, because fear of judgment, fear of what people are going to say. Hey, we're here to help. And if you feel like right now you're in a situation where you don't have the support, you definitely have the support of myself, of other mental health therapists. And so, again, at the end of this today, I'm going to put those resources out there. If you're feeling overwhelmed right now, you can definitely contact me as well, because I am a resource to you. And, if you are feeling that way, the first thing I'll say is that there is hope. So the world needs you. They need to be able to feel and to see that smile and that energy that you have. And although you feel like you are in a place right now where you don't know how things are going to work, how things are going to benefit. I just don't know which way to turn. I want you to look at me in the camera as I'm having this conversation, because you can definitely turn to hope. And when I say you can turn to hope, you can turn to God. You can turn to your prayer time. And so if that's something that you're not used to, that you're not aware of, or maybe you've just sort of put that to the side, there is hope. So, in terms of speaking about who you are and the light that you have on the inside. That is who God has called you to be. And so the strength that you have that resonates from the inside, it's okay that that's a little bit off right now. It's okay that you don't know which way to turn. That is why we can look to others to talk about, I don't know what my next step is. It's not always just the prayer, because sometimes we don't have the words to say. But I will say that the resources that's going to be provided for you on this evening, you can reach out and you can get that extra hope, that extra strength. I'm sorry, the things that you need to be able to make it. And we're talking about make it just another moment. This is not trying to figure out how am I going to get through the week. This is moment by moment, minute by minute. And so if you are that person right now, I am praying for you. I am praying with you, and I am a support for you. And so I ask that you partner with me and to believe in the hope that is around you, to believe that there is a stronger power that is going to right now help you and getting to that next step. And so my name again is Paulicia Aguilard. I am a licensed mental health professional, and so as we are talking this evening, I'm going to pray a special prayer for you, as well as you'll see some different resources that will come up. So if you will just take a moment just to again hear my heart. So, Father God, I thank you for those that are watching and that are tuning in right now. I know, Lord, right now that the times that we are living in, it is difficult and sometimes it's challenging. We don't know which way to turn. We don't know which way to go, from the left or the right, Lord. But we know, Lord, that if we can come to you and you say to lay everything at your feet, you say that we don't have to have all of the answers, because you are perfect in all of your ways. And so right now, trying to figure out where I need to go and what I need to do, I'm going to turn that over to you, because you have my best interest in mind. And so right now, I just thank you for providing that answer. I thank you for those who feel like right now they don't know where to go. They need your touch. They need your strength. Right now, I pray for those that are listening, that you are coming in right now, that you're surrounding them with your love, that you are giving them strength, and that right now there's a connection. Right now that somebody is calling right now to check on you as you're listening right now as you're hearing my voice, that you are literally beginning to feel that strength right now. God is coming in and he's giving you the grace that you need to be able to go another moment. Right now you are hearing and you are beginning to turn around from trying to do something that's going to be forever. So again, God, I just thank you for answering the prayer. I thank you for having this moment and this time for those, and being able to allow people to hear my heart, to be able to just put some conversation out there. And I would love to continue to do this, but I thank you for that. I thank you for this time. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Again, thank you for your time on this evening. Please check out our resources at the end. And if you have any questions, you can definitely contact our office at info@polyclinicalservices.com.